This is Hello Hockey with Sean Bell and Tom Gazzola.
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Come on. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Hey. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Yeah. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Hey. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
VIP coming live from the VIP. Heard the nightlife.
This is Hello Hockey with Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell.
Yes, sir. It is Hello Hockey. Happy Saturday to everybody out there. Hope you're enjoying a lovely day. It is the best time of year in the hockey world. Honestly, Bellezy, it really is. Yes.
I agree. It's
absolutely. Tom Gazzola, Sean Bell, Benny Thompson inside the EST studios in lovely Edmonton. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, of course, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player, or Sportsnet Radio, we appreciate you. And if you're watching on YouTube, you guys are the best. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Subscribe to our podcast channel as well. I know that's something we're emphasizing too, because podcasts are obviously a big thing. We're there for you wherever you want to listen, however you want to take in what we've got for you. And as always, we start with the morning coffee brought to you by our good friends over at Fox Coffee. Check them out. Just 2 blocks south of Rogers Place. I was in there this morning chatting with Ashira. She is fantastic if you have a chance to talk to her. And they have new donut flavors, which we sampled a little bit today. Benny and I did. The cinnamon buns are phenomenal, as you know, Bellezy. And really the coffee's great. And then she said that they have changed the menu.
Really?
Yeah. She emphasized and highly encouraged people try the new Chicken Club. That has become the #1 influencer place in Edmonton. And I hate influencers. Hate
you
them.
are an influencer, Tommy.
Shut up, Bellezy.
Okay.
But that is the spot where you're going to go take photos because they have just an absolutely tremendous setup. It is a beautiful location. It really is. Jarrell and Michaela have done a great job with that.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, they really have.
What a place.
Yeah, I'm not an influencer, by the way.
Keep telling yourself that.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, like, we have a great show for you. I'm going to start with that, first of all. We're going to be joined by 2-time Stanley Cup champion Chris Dingman. He was a great broadcaster as well when he was with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then our good friend Johnny Boychuk will be stopping by. And then, of course, Dave Pagnotta, who will tell everybody what he's been telling everybody for the last year, that expansion is coming.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. We're ahead of the game again.
Weird,
right?
I feel like we've been talking this for 2 years.
We have been. I was going to say something about the influencer thing. Oh, so the Prime Minister shows up at the rink in Edmonton. I hate TikTok. I hate it. I loathe it with a passion. So I put up a TikTok video of the Prime Minister. Guess what?
What?
I have like a couple hundred new followers and like 50,000 views and
like I said,
a couple thousand
you're
likes.
An influencer.
I hate that crap.
Well, you literally just put up a post. You admitted to it. And here we are. Influencer Tommy.
I'm here to facilitate information. That's it.
Fair enough.
When are you getting TikTok dances into your repertoire?
Next week.
No kidding.
I hate TikTok dances. Oh, Benny
it's
Thompson.
coming, though.
Yeah.
He knows it,
Okay.
Yeah.
Serious question.
Okay.
Like, Benny, you're 22 now?
Correct.
Like, you have grown up in the TikTok era.
Yep.
Have you actually stood in front of your phone and done a dance?
Tell me yes, Benny.
No.
I knew you were one of the good ones.
Yeah, you hesitated big time on
he had
that
to think
one.
about that.
You did for sure.
One of my buddies, this was like a couple of years ago. Like, we would screw around, and like this only happened when we had beverages, and we just did some fun stuff, but it was not dances or anything.
Oh my god, it's the worst.
I strictly use TikTok for information purposes and
what information is out there?
No, you'd be surprised. You would be surprised.
Okay, here we go.
Oh my god.
You'd be surprised.
No,
they
listen,
teach you how to do things on TikTok.
Listen. When I'm in the gym and I don't know how to do a certain exercise with the proper technique,
Google is your friend.
No, but I search it up on TikTok and it gives me a video right away, explains everything.
And then is there a sponsorship note with it?
Nope. They make enough money off of just like the ads from TikTok.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they should add a sponsorship.
Probably should. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like it's good for information. I catch a lot of podcast clips. If I can't watch a full podcast, there's a lot of clips there. So I'm for it. I'm for it.
TikTok, you're for TikTok. Okay,
I'm for
okay.
TikTok, not the dances.
Yeah, I hate TikTok, but I thank you to everybody who followed me. It's
just gross.
Yeah, I know. Kelvin in the nasty chat getting there goes, look at Tommy being all political. I'm not political. I hate politics so much. But, like, that's a world leader that's there. And it's like, okay. Bellezy. Snipers inside and outside the building all night long.
Yeah. No.
That's wild.
I got to get something off my chest, Tommy.
Hair?
Well, I've got hairy. I got a little bit of hair.
I know.
On my chest
Hey, by the way, you shaved. You look good.
Thanks, you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
You look more aerodynamic.
Thank you.
You're very fast.
Very fast. Thank you.
As always.
So, I've been doing a lot of reflection.
Is this going to be sensitive?
It might be.
Oh, I hope not.
Been doing a lot of reflection, and it keeps bringing me back to Tripgate, which happened at heavy hockey.
What a pile of crap.
If you don't know what happened, minute and 44 seconds left in the game. I'm holding on to the puck. Nobody can get it off me. Tommy trips me.
As if
hold on, just let me
it.
get through this, okay? Because
Sure,
I think there's
Benny,
I think I've come to a conclusion.
You
here.
can't roll your eyes hard enough
So,
at this crap.
As I was reflecting, I was like, "Hey, like, I don't understand why somebody would do that." And then on the subsequent shows, Hangout, I was on the Reed Wilkins show. Then all of a sudden, there was like, messages coming in from Tommy, from Gager. And I was like, you know what?
Joaquin wasn't even there.
I know, but he said something in the chat.
Okay.
And I think I got to apologize to you, Tommy. I'm sorry.
For
and
what?
you know why?
No.
Because what
I'm
I
confused.
realized is that what happened at Heavy Hockey Showdown was that it was a PTSD moment. From when I played at KC, you played at MLAC,
Yeah.
and we consistently kick you down the road.
Well, I'd say you whooped our ass.
That's basically what I'm saying
That
to you.
did happen. We
And
sucked.
so when you saw me ragging the puck and holding on to it and nobody could take it, you were like,
I was going to
man,
take it. Yeah, no.
this brings me
I'm not
back to yesteryear.
I'm not taking your
when
crap.
KC consistently smacked me around.
That did happen. Dion
So I'm
Phaneuf
sorry.
might have blown me up a couple
So
of
I'm
times.
sorry, Tommy.
Why are you sorry?
I apologize to you for what we used to do to you back in the day.
I learned
And I
to live
feel
with
like
that pain.
I didn't need to do that to you. And I think that's exactly why we're in a situation where you were so upset and you tripped and you took a bad penalty and you went back to your yesteryears.
That's very nice of you, but I would have appreciated if you apologized for going down like a Euro. Because you went down super easy.
See how I'm trying to like bring us back together and you're still deflecting?
Yeah.
I'm admitting something that I did to you and I'm sorry for doing that to
I
you.
guess I can't get over it. You're trying to bridge the divide.
I'm bridging the divide.
That's
So
very respectful.
I'm sorry
of
for
you.
holding on to the puck.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry for being too
my
strong
God.
for you. I'm sorry that back in the day we
Too
used to
strong for
smack
me,
your
my
team
ass.
around. I apologize.
You're looking like Sidney Crosby right now.
Oh my
With
God.
that backhand compliment.
He was listen, he is clearly a very good hockey. He has been he's been better than everybody since he was 12 years old.
Yeah.
He was head and shoulders taller than all of us when we were 15
Once
years
again,
old.
here comes the deflection.
There's no
I'm
deflection.
just trying to bring us together, Tommy.
He would put his big old booty in front of all of us and rag the puck, like he said, to us when we were 15 and do whatever he wanted before he went to Tri-City.
Oh boy.
Does this not sound like a little
Tri-Cities.
PTSD to you, Benny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm gonna protect this lead and I'm gonna rag the puck behind the net. I had to play defense.
See? Hey,
And I'm like, I'm not taking this crap from him. I'm
just
not
making my point.
We're not 15-year-olds anymore. So I'm digging, and I'm effectively digging for the puck, and I'm going to get the puck from him. I'm determined to. He thinks he can protect it as best as he can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to get it from him. And then, so I might have gotten my stick in his feet.
Might have.
Gently.
Okay.
and he goes down like a sequoia. And he's like, "That's tripping."
I didn't even complain,
Quote.
actually.
That's a quote. "That's tripping." And Surveyor Brett,
Yeah.
who I feel is a decent official, very, very easygoing. I hate officials, and he would be my favorite. I can tolerate him.
Good.
Totally succumbed to the fact that you're a former NHLer and you went down and you're like, "That's tripping." And then I got a penalty with like a minute 44 left to go in a charity hockey tournament. Shout out to Heavy Hockey.
Yeah.
Sace, I think we got around, it was like 35 to 40,000.
Yeah.
And
Wicked
they needed
event.
that funding. They ended up getting 80,000 from other
Wow.
sources, which was fantastic. That's the main part. So I want to give a round of applause,
100%.
round of clicks to Sace and Heavy Hockey. But you went down so easy.
Tommy, all I did today was try to like bring this back together by admitting a fault that I did to you.
That's tripping.
And
That's
right
exactly
now you're
what
deflecting.
Bellezy said.
You're deflecting
And
away
you're-
from the situation of that I hurt you.
You didn't hurt me.
I did. I hurt you
Didn't hurt me.
back in the day when you were getting dominated.
Oh, I fully
So, like,
recognize I was a crappy player on a
So
crappy
that's my
team.
point, is that like it just gave you, it was PTSD moment of being like, oh man,
I've
here we
never-
go again. Why do I got to play against KC? Oh, here comes Boychuk. Oh, here comes
Oh,
Teague.
Dan
Oh,
Boychuk,
here
good
comes
dude.
Danny Smith. Oh, here comes Bell. And I get it, man. So I'm
Yeah,
apologizing
Danny
to you.
Smith. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember.
So hopefully we can bury the hatchet
was
here.
Schlemmer on your team?
No.
Schlemmer was like, he's friends with the guys that I was older than.
So can we bury the hatchet?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. That wound stays open. 25 years
Perfect.
I was gonna say, been there for 25
Yeah.
years.
Been there for 25 years and we just ripped it right open again.
We had a great alumni skate, by the way, the other day.
Yep.
And,
you were late again.
Well, I was on the air.
Oh.
Chris Dingman and Johnny Boychuk were there. They're going to be our guests today, as well as Dave Pagnotta. So we actually have an awesome show for you. And
The teams were a little bit skewed.
yeah, they were.
Yeah.
I like how you called me out. I got there late. I was doing Winnipeg Sports Talk.
Well, you just said you didn't want to bury the hatchet, so now I'm going to start taking shots again.
We were on the same team.
I know,
We had a good game.
but I tried to bury the hatchet. You said no, so now I'm taking shots.
What? I scored. You scored. I scored.
Actually, no, I did not score.
Oh, I thought you did.
I was a setup
guess
man for
I was better than you that
the
day.
one guy that couldn't skate.
Thank you for not burying me when Reed asked about the alumni skates. Like, no, I did not play pro. I played junior hockey. That's it. But I think I do a decent job of keeping up. You're such a dick.
Silence is deafening over there, Bellezy.
Yeah, you're fine, buddy.
You're fine. You're fine, Tom.
That one hurt. That one actually hurt.
Can we bear the hatchet now?
Yes, we're burying the hatchet. All right, we have a great show for you. So much to get to. It's the best time of year in the hockey world, and we've got 14 games today. Calgary's in action. The Oilers are in action. The Canucks are in action. Bellezy has a lot to say. Dinger will have a lot to say. Johnny Boychuk will have a lot to say. Dave Pagnotta always has a ton to say. And we definitely want to hear from you. 780-218-9999. Of course, get into the nasty chat as well. Benny, anything you want to add to this? How was your week?
Nah, man, I've pretty hectic week. Just with school and everything. I don't know. It's starting to ramp up here. We only got like a month and a half left, and then I'll be here for my practicum over the summer.
Congratulations,
Thank
by
you.
the way.
Nice.
Great addition.
Yes.
Yep. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, no, it's been good. Yeah, just chilling. Was got to catch the last end of that Oilers Jets game. That Thursday night. I thought the Oilers played well. That was
They did. They did.
despite losing some guys, which I'm sure we'll talk about later.
We
But
will.
but yeah, no, it's been a good week. I'm excited for everything that's going on coming up here, so it'll be good.
We got to give a shout out to the Red Deer Kings.
Ah,
Yep.
Back-to-back champs in the ACAC,
all
They
right.
won last night.
which is very impressive. Hard to do in any league
Mhm.
when you're trying to go back-to-back. But they did it. They pulled it off, so good for them. Mount Royal obviously is off to what's the U Sport Cup.
Yep.
Mount Royal is a good program.
Yeah.
Awesome
Really good
program. Former ACAC group. That's nice to see that they're able to make that shift over to U Sports and then grow their program.
Better than McEwen.
Dominant.
McEwen's been okay in U Sport.
McEwen's been okay, but like you have, right. I think what happened, and please correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, when like here in the city, you've got the Golden Bears.
Yes.
At the time, it was Nate and GMAC in the same ACAC conference.
Yeah.
And the two top teams for recruiting were obviously the Golden Bears being number one by a landslide, but Nate number two because of the amount of players that couldn't get into other programs, but then also wanted to do trades.
Right.
And they would get like guys from the AHL and different, like East Coast Hockey League
You
players.
had guys, when you were coaching there, you had guys from the AHL come to Nate and play
100%. Yeah. So we had like a legit team. Yeah. And Grant McEwen would get high-end junior A players.
Yes.
And so they were a great program. They had some unbelievable coaches. Bram Steven obviously is one of them.
Yeah.
Zach Daly now, which is great to see. And then they shifted over to the U Sports. And so now you're in a direct recruiting battle with U of A. Well, you're not winning that.
No, never.
And then for a lot of these players in the WHL, well, what's the next best situation? Okay, well, I can go down to Calgary. I can go to UBC. Or I can go to Saskatchewan.
That's a great program. Actually, all those programs are
awesome.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So what I think happened is when Mount Royal switched over, they had some lean years, but at the same time, the Dinos weren't the Dinos now. They weren't as good. So Mount Royal was able to start stealing players. And they slowly built their program to what it is today. And trust me, the Dinos are a pretty good team as well. But Mount Royal did such a good job of just bringing in players just quietly, slowly. Hey, here's another high-end player from the WHL. Here's another high-end player from the Junior A world.
Yep.
And now here we are, and they look fantastic. So good for them. Obviously cheering for them because you want to see that U Cup, the U Sports Cup, come back to Western Canada. But obviously there's going to be some dominant teams out there. So good stuff.
Yeah, I respect that very much. Let's go. Represent Western Canada across the nation. We've got, I think, the best hockey players in the world. Screw you, Ontario. Let's go to the Modern Power Play with our boys from Modern Measure, because portions of this hour are brought to you by Edmonton's leading provider of made-to-measure clothing. Choose from hundreds of fabrics and customizations to give you a one-of-a-kind look with a perfect fit made just for you. Richie and Jared have been super busy. Did you see them outfit Chris Knobloch? They got Knobloch a suit, a jacket, a bunch of stuff. They've got Bob and Jack looking good on the Oilers broadcasts, which is hard to do. And then they've had us looking sharp, which is not hard to do, but they've enhanced our look.
I'm actually looking forward to wearing one of my Modern Measure suits today.
It fits like a glove, man.
Oh, man.
They're fantastic. The boys have been so busy. We got to roll another Modern Power Play from the vault. So let's see what Benny picked from today. What do you got, Benny? Roll it.
Hey boys, Jared from Modern Measure here to do your Modern Power Play for the week of November 16th. I hate to do it, but I am going to talk about the Leafs as the Oilers are playing them tonight. But to make it easier on me, I'm just going to focus on one. We're going to go with Willie Nylander. He's usually got some really nice styles. So let's start talking about some of his looks. The first one here is a nice mint linen blend. I really like the look of this suit. You know, it's nice and fresh. I like the white button choice, the nice double-breasted look. Overall, it's a great suit. The only thing I can really pick apart on is the cuffs on the pants. Not really typical on like a summer linen suit. The next suit, a nice black classic, double-breasted, very sharp, very clean. This is great for formal events, and it brings a nice level of elegance to any kind of event. My only real criticism here also is skinny tie. Skinny tie like that doesn't really fit that style of suit. The next one I got here, the blue pinstripe, very gangster. Lose the toque, but as you can see by now, old Willie here likes the double-breasted suits with the nice wide peak lapels. It is a good look. You know, if that's your thing, rock it all day long. I do think it is a great suit, and I really like the casual unbuttoned and no tie dress shirt. Just kind of makes it a little more playful, and I think it's a great look. Finally here, we got a nice pink single-breasted suit, but still with the peak lapels. I like the ticket pockets. This suit definitely is sort of saying Tom Ford. It's got that real look to it. I do overall like how it's a nice muted pink. It's a great summer suit. My only question is, when you see you wearing this, they don't really get, you know, very deep into the playoffs. So this is what, April? So I don't know. Anyways, my real criticism about Nylander here, besides being a Leaf, are the sneakers. Why are you wearing sneakers with suits? I don't get it. It's not a good look, and I don't know. That's just my style. If you do it, I'm not knocking you. To me, I just don't get it. Some sneakers work, like maybe Converse every once in a while, but I don't know, these are just big, and they just buckle up the pants, and I just don't think it looks great. So that's it for me this week. Go Oilers, go, and thanks, guys, for everything. Talk to you soon.
All right, that was Jared from Modern Measure. Go see the boys there if you're looking for a suit. Actually, just like casual wear as well. Those guys have it locked down. I'm going to be doing some sidelines for TSN again this year on...
Actually, you know what? We got to give you some clicks for that, buddy. Hey, like, that's big time right there. Good for you, Tommy.
Thank you. Looking forward to that. So the boys were saying, hey, maybe we'll get you a couple of polos for that, or maybe some summer sport coats, and they do it all. And also, they are now doing women's clothing.
Yes.
So if you're a lady and you're looking for some business wear, the boys will take care of it. They have the female mannequin, and they had like a women's, how would I describe it? Business suit, but like a dress or skirt.
Yep.
And they were trying to put it on in the shop, and people can look in, and they had like the mannequin like upside down, and they're like trying to get the dress on, and they're like, maybe we should take this but behind and not in front of everybody. The boys were joking about that. Logistics. They're great. Anyway, we have a great show for you. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. We're going to be joined by Johnny Boychuk, Chris Dingman later on. And, of course, in hour number 2, we've got our Hello Hockey Insider, David Pagnotta. RBM says he likes Modern Measure. And RBM says he likes the power play, as we do as well.
Appreciate that.
Collingwood Rob asking for a March Madness link. This is not the show for that. Thank you, Collingwood Rob.
March Madness. Killing me.
Whatever.
Killing me.
Matt Hyman asking how short my hockey pants are. Bellezy, you can answer this because clearly you are the
I have no
expert.
idea, actually, because I'm usually skating by you. Woo! Fire!
You can take back that handshake, Tom, there? Or what?
Yep. Yes, Benny. Yes, Benny, I will take that. Oh, boy, that's funny. All right. Anything else you'd like to add before we have to go to break before Johnny joins us?
No, I got nothing.
Johnny was he was in great spirits.
Like I said, I thought that the game, the Alumni skate was very lopsided. It was like almost every single pro on the ice was on one team, except for Nick Johnson and Taz, essentially.
Where did Nick... Oh, Taz lit me up. I don't play defense. Where did Nick play? Was he in Columbus? Because he has Blue Jackets.
I think Johnny might have played in Columbus and Boston, I think. Maybe the Wild, too.
And he got into some games?
Yep. Yeah, he's a good
I
player.
thought so. Yeah, he's very good. Very good.
Also, another shout-out.
What?
Canadian forward Josh Levo. I don't know if you remember that name.
I do remember
Josh. Maybe, I think, a couple games, right? He just broke the KHL record for most goals in a single season.
How many?
49.
Wow. How was your time in the KHL?
It was a month. It was in Zagreb. Croatia's awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed I enjoyed Zagreb. I enjoyed being a part of that. Our arena was different. It was interesting, but it was
Why?
still nice. It was like,
How
I don't
many
know.
people did it hold?
I think it was about 5 or 6.
Oh, so not that big.
It's not that big, but it's just, like it's still passionate fan base, but it's just like it's East Block, if that makes sense. Like
Olive drab.
yeah, like it just was
Neon
like
beige.
a dreary, just run down, but still fine. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Just it wasn't as nice as some of the other places.
Josh Levo's lighting up the KHL. I'm looking. He got 265 games in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He played for a while.
Scored 10 goals with Vancouver in 2019.
Yeah.
Yep.
49 games.
He had
Good
80
player.
points in 62 games, most in the KHL, and was 9 shy of the record.
Oh,
Good for him.
yeah.
So maybe he's going to be another guy that maybe he can come back
Yeah.
this way, or he'll stick throughout the KHL and do what Nigel Dawes used to do.
Your former teammate.
Former teammate Nigel Dawes had an illustrious career in the KHL and put up some serious numbers. I think he was second all time in goals in the KHL.
That's impressive.
So obviously there's guys
How is
like
that league, by the way?
it's a good hockey league. I would say
Yeah.
it's the second best hockey league in the world. But it's just nice to see. When guys don't play their 1,000 games in the NHL and they still find ways to make money and do things that they love to do. So it's good to see guys doing good stuff outside of the NHL.
Really quickly.
Yeah.
Because we have like a minute before we have to go to commercial.
Sure.
How is the payment in the KHL? Just
It's
all
all
very
over
open-ended.
It's all over the map.
Yeah.
I would say you can make up to one of the guys that I played with, Chris Lee, was making I think $3 million.
And
in
was it like,
Magnitogorsk.
hey, we need your bank account information, or is it here's a bag of money every 2 weeks? That's what I mean.
Certain spots
Yeah.
like that. Other places, if you're a top end guy, they're going to treat you about as good as possible.
Okay.
And if you're like, floundering Canadian or American, you might not get treated as well because you might be on some of those shady teams.
Mm.
But for the most part, like guys that I know, they did very well.
I respect that very much.
Yeah.
All right. If you have any questions for Johnny Boychuk, he's coming up next. Send those in, 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat as well. Hit that thumbs up button. We are rocking and rolling right here on Hello Hockey. A lovely Saturday in the Big E. 14 games on the schedule. We'll be right back after these messages. Experience a new era of well-being with Balance. Our innovative hot tea elixir harnesses 10 natural herbs and spices masterfully steeped to unlock powerful benefits to combat inflammation, boost digestion, ease joint tension, and soothe your mind, all while reducing anxiety and promoting better sleep. Rooted in Ayurvedic tradition and enhanced by modern science, Balance is your answer to bloating, IBS, restless nights, and daily stress. Imagine how a simple cup can reset your natural rhythms, helping you wake up refreshed and ready to conquer the day. With each sip, feel your body re-energize and your spirit lift, redefining your health from the inside out. It's time to elevate your wellness. Order your Balance today at sensenaturals.ca.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Movies, comics, and television. That's what you get with Friends of Edmonton Sports Talk, the MCTV podcast. Join hosts Corey Graham and Mark Majot Monday and Friday nights at 7 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Join friend of EST, Guy Flaming, for the Pipeline Show, Monday nights at 8 and Saturday at noon, as he has you covered with CHL, CJHL, USHL, NAHL, NCAA, and U Sports, plus the World Juniors, Frozen Four, and NHL Draft on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. The Elks Call is the newest Edmonton Elks podcast, located in Edmonton, discussing everything Elks. Join friends of EST, Scout and Catherine, Friday nights at 8 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Is Hello Hockey with Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell.
Yes, indeed. We roll on here on Hello Hockey on Edmonton Sports Talk, Sportsnet Radio. A lovely Saturday, 14 games on the schedule. Join the conversation. Text us, 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat as well. Of course, portions of this hour are brought to you by Nexar Equipment. If you need maintenance, service, or repairs on your vehicle or heavy equipment, score a 10% discount at Nexar Equipment with code HelloHockey. Visit nexarequipment.ca or call 587-402-6665. Shout out to Scott and Tyson over at Nexar. My mom, Eva G., God bless her, was at the dealership with her vehicle yesterday. She calls me as I'm leaving the studio, and she's like, oh my God, I'm at this deal. I'm not going to say which one. And they want this much money, and I'm very flustered, and your dad's busy. Can you please call your friends at Nexar and ask them what it would cost for my brakes? I was like, Mom, can you please give me 2 minutes? I've got to pull into my building. And I text Scott, and I said, Scott, can you help my mom out? She's very flustered. I don't know what's going on. She just says she's trying to get her brakes done on her vehicle. And Scott took care of it. And my mom, I had no idea she was like in a panic. And she's like, hey, can you please get a quote from them so I can leave this dealership? And I'm like, Mom, okay, fine. So I'm like, here's Scott's number. Call him. She does. Scott's taking care of it. Tyson texts me. He goes, hey, we got your mom covered. It's all good. And then Scott texts me back like an hour later, and he goes, by the way, the impression you do of your mom is spot on.
It's so good.
And he's like, I've been listening to you for a few years, and I laugh when I hear you do the impression of your mom, and then I talk to her, and she sounds exactly like that. And I was like, yes, she sounds like a little Polish lady that just got off the boat from
What a saint, though.
Poland. Yeah. Bellezy, are you doing okay today? Is Tommy being nice to you? That's how she sounds. Anyway, shout out to the boys, Tyson and Scott over at Nexar. They're fantastic. Check them out in Nisku if you need any vehicle repairs. I know
they also do heavy duty equipment.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
So
oilfield stuff, all that.
Oilfield stuff. So if you're ever looking for heavy duty equipment, they rent it. They do a great job. So
I know Richie went over there, and turns out his vehicle needs way more work than the boys at Nexar can handle. Richie from Modern Measure, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. Johnny Boychuk will be joining us shortly. Stanley Cup champion, current member of the New York Islanders front office staff in player development, and we were on the ice with him the other day. Of course, send in your text. I'm curious what people are thinking going into all the action today. I know, obviously for the Oilers, no McDavid, Draisaitl. They're taking on Seattle today. You and I talked about this a little bit, just where they're at. Go out there and win a game. The Flames, I said this to you, we're going to put up the Bellezy Saturday picks right away on our social media, but I said I'm actually rooting for the Flames. I'd like to see them get into the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And Vancouver, I have no idea. To me, Vancouver's still a mess. But I look at the Flames, and I respect what they've put together this year and their tenacity, their kind of screw you attitude. I have a lot of time and respect for that.
I like them. So it's well, you know how I feel. I've talked about it lots. I just think that in Western Canada, if we could somehow get the Canucks to be good, get the Flames to be good, then we're all probably sitting here laughing together.
Those are the best games.
Those are the best games.
Series.
Like, I can't believe how engaged. Like, obviously, that I haven't been in the media world for a long time, but just watching how, engaged everyone was when it came to the Canucks Oilers series, and like the social media was buzzing.
That was crazy.
Our nasty chat was buzzing the whole time.
Yep.
Like, that's just awesome for hockey. So there's nothing against the Knights. The Knights are unbelievable. Great team since their inception.
Yep.
The Kings have been fantastic. They're getting better. They play an unbelievable style of hockey. It is defensive, but they've got studs galore in that program. But it's not Western Canada.
Good point.
That's
the
all.
American Southwest, which I love very much. All right. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and of course, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player, maybe Sportsnet Radio, you can text us 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat as well if you're watching on YouTube. Tom Gazzola, Sean Bell, Benny Thompson with you inside the EST Global HQ on the west side of Edmonton. Our first guest of the day, Johnny Boychuk, joining us now, the pride of the North Side, former MLAC. He was on an MLAC teams that were decent. Not like me, Bellezy, when you were skating circles around us.
Is that only one team?
Shut up, Bellezy.
No.
Yeah, see, Johnny's already saying no. Also, he went to AOB just like me, although Johnny's a year or two older than I am. We were talking about that on the bench the other day. Johnny, welcome back to the program. In the first half hour of this show, Sean made fun of my playmaking ability, my overall game at 39 years of age. I feel like you were very welcoming to me when I got to the bench late. I can still keep up with you guys. I know you guys are NHLers or former NHLers, but I feel like I can still keep up. And I've been getting murdered all week. So please say something nice about me, Johnny.
We weren't trying.
Clip that, Benny. Clip that right now.
You were my idol. You're my idol. It's over. Go ahead, Bellezy.
That is the absolute best comment I've heard all week.
He was very chipper on the ice the other day. Go ahead, Bellezy.
Awesome. Man, that's wicked.
Yeah, thanks, Johnny.
Johnny, great to have you back on the show. One of the things I wanted to chat with you about, just because we haven't seen each other in a long time, was Brad Marchand leaving the Bruins. You played with Brad Marchand, and I just want to kind of touch on that situation. And we'll start with, what kind of impact did Marchand have on that locker room? Because I feel like he's been one of the biggest pieces of the Bruins, kind of along with Patrice Bergeron and Zdeno Chara for a long time. What does he mean truly to that locker room?
Well, I mean, he was a core member of the group. So, I mean, for you to be there that long, being part of a team and they're building around you and then get traded, it's probably just, it's gut-wrenching probably for him to get traded, because I know when you get traded from a team that you love, and it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's you still got to go out there and perform and play, and you know what? Maybe he finds a new home and plays well and maybe wins a cup. We'll find out.
So we talked about this, I think, last week on the show, and just, players talk and the way that it all unfolded. Do you think that could possibly come back? And just the way that it, he wanted, I think it was like $7 million. The Bruins wanted to give him 6.3, somewhere in that range. Like, it's not too far off, but just the way that the whole situation unfolded, from a player perspective, do you think that ends up hurting the Bruins, or is this just a situation where, like, hey, it just didn't work out, it is what it is?
I don't think it's going to hurt them, because, the city of Boston and the team is, usually really good, and their fans are very passionate, so I don't think it's going to hurt the Bruins. But it just comes down to the point where it's a business. That's it.
Yeah,
pretty straight up. I'm curious about this, Johnny. You hear about the tradition of the Bruins, the fabric that's there in terms of the culture. You were a part of that. You won a Stanley Cup there. That's obviously special. Like, I know you're with the Islanders now, and we'll get to the Islanders obviously too.
Yeah.
But what, to those that are on the outside, what is being a Bruin all about? Because we saw Marchand, like, he's not a sensitive guy, I don't think, but he was pretty emotional. When he made his press conference debut with the Panthers. What is it like being a Bruin? You were there. You're part of that fabric and culture.
Well, they like the hard hitting. They like the hard working, blue collar kind of person where just put your helmet on and go to work. So the fans embraced our whole team because that's what we were made of, basically. And, we embraced it, and that's what, you wear the jersey. And, there was, I think when I first got to Boston, you usually had your jersey name when you go to your stall. And I'm like, this don't make sense. I go, why don't we turn it around? Because we're all playing for each other. And that's what it's all about.
Well, you're definitely right about that, because it is, teams trying to come together and be a group so that they can play for each other and win cups. You look back at that, those teams in Boston and just talking about, the big, heavy hockey. Do you see that coming all the way full circle? Because I kind of look you look at the NHL, and it's a copycat league, and you go back to when the Ducks won with Getzlaf, Perry, Penner. I think Pronger was on the back end with Niedermeyer. Yep. Like, that team, I believe, won or was the best, obviously, team in the league, but they also had the most fights at like 70 fights throughout the season. When you guys were doing your thing in Boston, you guys were, a monster to deal with, because it wasn't just that you were skilled, but you had guys that could go at any moment. Yourself, obviously, Chara, Lucic, Horton. Like, you had some guys that were dogs. And so you bring it back. You've got the Knights. The Knights played, they play a certain style of hockey, but they're not as physical as what some of those other teams were. The Panthers are probably the closest iteration of what your teams were. Like, do you see hockey kind of coming full circle with that big, heavy hockey again?
I don't think it will, just because everything is getting faster and more skilled. But I believe, in my opinion, the teams that are going to be going further are going to be the heavier hitting, tougher teams, because you can't just win with just skill and speed. Because once the big guys catch you and they hit you and you're out for a couple of games, it's not going to be good. So I think there's got to be a happy medium of that strong physical play matched with some speed as well. So, I'd love to see more fights. Everybody does, but it's starting to get dwindled a little bit, but it's been coming back as of late, and it's nice to see that. And I think it's still going to be part of the game, but I believe that just having a fast physical team will benefit anybody.
Johnny Boychuk joining us now. He's part of the New York Islanders player development side of things. One of the funny things you said on the ice at the Alumni skate the other day was you just chop at the puck but don't actually touch it. I remember you saying that when you were talking about stick handling. I thought that
like
was
me and Bellezy stick handling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
You did a nice demonstration too, but in all seriousness, how has it gone with the Islanders and the prospects that are coming up through the system, and how are you enjoying that side of the game? Because it is a little bit different to you. I know you've been in it for a couple of years, but it is a new thing in general.
It's been a little bit difficult because we've been trading away all of our draft picks like the last 5 years. So they're not doing very well in Bridgeport this year. Mm-hmm. Well, I think they're last, so not very good. But it is enjoyable to go to their practices and being on the ice with them and trying to tell them what I see when they're going for their shift or during their practices. I'll pull a couple guys aside whenever I see something and let them know, but they're very responsive to talking to them because they want to essentially get up to the next level. That's the whole goal, is getting to the NHL. So it's enjoyable to see them when you teach them something that they use it during the game or practice and it works, and they're like, wow, it actually works. You know what you're talking about. I'm like, yes. Of course.
I did it for a long time. I do know what I'm talking about. I'm just imagining you going on the ice with some of these guys and you're looking at them and being like, aren't you like 30? Because you traded away so many picks.
Oh, man.
Just kidding.
Well, I just get a kick out of that because it's, when you look at it, and I've got lots of kids that I coach, and they can pull off every single move in known to mankind. But at the same time, you're like, boys, if you played against our team, like let's just hypothetically say they came out and we took my team versus our alumni, they'd be like, we'd kick the doors off you. And I'm like, I don't actually think you guys would, because like we actually moved the puck.
Yeah.
And we can think it, and you got some guys that can shoot the puck. And when you're down in Bridgeport and you're teaching these guys, and that they can pull off Michigans at every single turn, but at the same time, like that IQ level and trying to be deceptive and just like maybe a subtle, head fake or shoulder fake, do you go down and teach them those skills as well? Or when we're looking at from a skills perspective, is it just, linear crossovers and how to, be quick and deceptive with your shot, not so much with just like your body?
Well, first off, you think I'm really going to teach him how to do the Michigan?
No.
I don't think so, Bus.
Well, you can sauce pass a million miles an hour.
Very nice sauce passes, yes.
Yeah. But I think it's more stick positioning, body positioning, not crossing over when the guy is moving left and right, because as soon as you cross over one way, then they go the other way. Don't look at the puck when you're on a one-on-one, two-on-one. You got to take the pass away. Just there's a lot of things that go on to the game that people that haven't played the game don't realize what goes into it, and the thought process that you have to do it within a quarter second. Or even say if you're doing a one-on-one, a guy chips it by you and he's got good speed. Okay, well, you're not going to get the puck first because he's a little bit faster. So you have to readjust your angle, get to the inside ice and push him up the board so he doesn't have positioning. Make sure that you're what am I going to say? That you're influencing where he's going to go rather than him influencing where he wants you to go.
I'm curious about this, Johnny. Like when you get a kid out of junior, and listen, man, these guys are excellent players when they come out of junior, NCAA, and all that. What is the gap from them being NCAA / junior, major junior players to being pros? Like, where do you try to nudge them the most to get them to be everyday pros? Like, what area do you see commonly is a deficiency for the young guys as they try to make that next step in their careers?
I think there's a lot that has to do with how are you going to make it into the NHL? Mm-hmm. Yes, you scored 140 points in junior, but there's a lot of those guys in the NHL. What if you're not, you have to adjust your role from being a top six to, maybe a third line checker that can score. You have to find a niche on how to stay into the NHL. Especially if you're like a third, fourth, fifth round pick or so forth, but you have to find a niche if you're not one of the top prospects or get a chance. And when you do get a chance, you have to actually take it and not be nervous. It's tough to do, but once you get onto the ice, it kind of just goes for a blur, but you just have to find that niche on how to stay into the NHL. Some guys that are in the NHL weren't a draft pick, weren't a high prospect, but they find a way and a role for them to stay into the NHL.
Well, I mean, I just take your career for an example. And I mean, you can enlighten people a little bit on your career and how you ended up in Boston, because I'm pretty sure we talked at one point before you tried to run me on the ice in Lake Erie, but you were playing forward for half the season for the Monsters, and then all of a sudden, you went back on the point, I'm pretty sure, and I'll let you jump into it, but you went back onto the point, you started to play really well, you signed in Boston as a free agent, and then the rest is history. So, I mean, please just share a little bit on that.
Yeah, well, during that, when I was in the minors for 5 years, I with Colorado, I was playing forward for 2 years, and I think at the end of the year meeting when I was in Lake Erie, because I was basically a fourth line forward, wanting as a defenseman, and all I did was dump the puck in, hit people, and fight. Like, that's it. So at the end of the year meetings, I said, if you see me as a forward, I would like you to trade me. And if you don't, I'm probably going to be in Russia next year. So they traded me to Boston. And the first thing when I got the phone call was, am I going to be a defenseman? And Don Sweeney actually was the one that phoned me. And he goes, yes, that's why we traded for you. I said, perfect, then I'll stay. He's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, I got to play defense that year in Providence, had an extremely good year. I was fortunate to play with players that pass the puck back to the defenseman so they can actually shoot the puck. And sometimes that's hard to find, but had a good year that year, and then signed a one-way deal, which is a big deal when you're back then. If you got a one-way deal, that means you're going to be playing in the NHL, not like nowadays where they are handing one-ways out for guys that are going to be playing in the minors sometimes. Yeah. So it was a very interesting couple years, after Lake Erie and then Providence and then Boston, and then year after that we won the cup.
Johnny scored 20 that year, by the way, in the A.
Yeah, I know.
Did you score 20 in the A?
No, I never scored 20 in the A.
Yeah. Wow.
But Johnny had unbelievable seasons.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and because the Western Conference, especially in the A, and actually I think you could probably say the same thing in the NHL, was a little bit more wide open, a little bit more structured, and then you got to the East, and at least we used to describe the East as like a bit of a rugby scrum, because every game there was teams had really tough players throughout the lineup, yeah. and it was just like, okay, if it gets to 5-2 and there's 5 minutes left in the game, it's probably going to be mayhem at some point. But the East was very similar to that too.
Gong show.
Like, who were some of the guys in the Eastern Conference when you were playing, especially in the minors, that you really had to deal with?
Well, that was you remember the first year of the lockout where every team had a meet, and like, I think there's a couple teams had a couple guys. Like, I think that's year Brian McGrattan broke the record for American League penalty minutes. Then you got Dale Parrington,
oh my God,
Jesse Bolreese, you had Dennis Bonvie. I mean, there's the Scroyer, Mike Scroy. Like, everybody had a meet. It was like, and when it's like 5-2. Like you said, it's like, okay, who's going to be going out next? I remember when we were in Providence, Hershey played in Providence, and we fought underneath the benches or underneath the stands, and then the goalies fought at center ice.
That's not shocking at all, because like that whole division was just an absolute gong show. And, like, we started to see it trickle into the West. And I never played in the East, but like, we had Morasti. He was in Syracuse at one point, and then you had we had John Scott, we had Matt Cassian, we had Chris Barch, you had Vandermeer. He came into San Antonio. Josh Gratton was there, and there'd be times, and I'll never forget this, because this is one of the days I was sitting out, so I was like, man, counting my lucky stars. But myself, Johnny Scott, and and Matt Cassian were all out, but we had Cal Clutterbuck. And Clutterbuck, and Klutz very well, he just goes around and he hits guys. That's what he does, and he does it very well.
Yeah.
And we're playing San Antonio. They had Pete Vandermeer on the team, and I want to get Pete on the show because I need to hear his recollection of this. But he apparently, on a timeout, skated up to our bench. He went to Clutterbuck, and he put a stick in Clutterbuck's face and was like, "You keep hitting guys, you're a dead man." And our whole bench apparently was just quiet. It's like, okay, this is going to get real in a hurry. And the game calmed down.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, sure. Thank you.
I apologize for that nonsense. But yeah, that's what hockey used to be. And it's good that it's changed. But at the same time, you still like to see some of that squirreliness.
Yeah. I have one more for you, Johnny.
I mean, everybody has the wires crossing.
Oh, yeah. I have one more for you. I say this is the best time of year for hockey. As much as anybody, your team, the Islanders, is 2 points out of a playoff spot, chasing down the Habs right now. So they're in the mix. And when the snow is thawing and the ice is going away, all that, it's springtime. It's playoff hockey. We talk about teams ramping things up this time of year. Can teams flip the switch, or does it have to be a gradual progression? Like, what did you learn about this time of year in the NHL trying to make a run for a Stanley Cup?
I think the big thing is to get momentum going into the playoffs is pretty key, but it's also just getting into the playoffs, because as soon as playoffs start, it doesn't matter what happens in the regular season, how many goals you scored, how many assists, penalty minutes, save percentage. You can throw that out the window, because in playoffs, it's a new animal, and it's so exciting. You always go to the rink and you have those tingles down the back of your neck. You're listening to your favorite song, pulling up to the arena, and you just are. It's not nervous. It's kind of not nervous, but not excited, but it's like a combination of both. Mm-hmm. And some people rise to the challenge and some people don't. And you find out pretty quick when you're in playoffs who's a playoff performer and who's not.
I love that.
That's very true.
Well said. Someone who's been there before. Johnny, it was an honor sharing the ice and the bench with you. I forgot what you said about my game, and maybe you weren't trying, but I felt like I was doing all right out there. Always a pleasure to have you on. And as a former MLAC on this show, it's you and me versus Bellezy right now. So
it's not,
we stick together here.
Johnny was trying to throw sauce passes that were head height off of people's feet.
So what? He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I know. But those sauce passes are like wrist shots for most people.
Yeah, that's true. Johnny,
that's true. But if you want to block them, go right ahead.
Johnny, thanks for hopping on. I look forward to seeing you around town. I know Bellezy does too, and we'll catch up soon. All right?
Okay, thanks for having me, guys.
There's Johnny Boychuk, player development with the New York Islanders. Just funny. And I know it's more casual with Johnny, but he makes a great point about this time of year. Like,
it's awesome.
The play your favorite song. You find out who's legit and who's not.
Oh yeah.
There's something to that, Bellezy.
I love playoff hockey.
It's the best time of year.
Yeah,
seriously.
I think honestly, I could care less about the regular season, and for me, it's all about playoffs.
Could not care less.
Could care less. Could not care less. Doesn't matter. Whatever the verbiage is, regular season doesn't matter to me.
There you go.
Playoffs. That's what matters.
Playoffs.
We're
going to talk about playoffs with David Pagnotta, as well as other rumors around the National Hockey League. Our Hello Hockey Insider joining us in hour number 2. Big thank you to Johnny Boychuk for hopping on. Text us 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat as well. It's Hello Hockey. Gazzola, Bell, and Thompson. We'll be back right after this.
2 guys and a goalie.
I don't mind analytics. I just don't like when people are like only analytics and only this, and they're like, oh, you can't do that, guy is, and so he's horrible. And I'm like, let's watch the tape, and then let's look at those analytics and say why some of that stuff happened before we make our decisions.
Cass is good in the sheets, the Excel spreadsheets. I was going to say, like Cass, what do you think of analytics? By the way, this episode will be called Cassalytics. Hey, I think it's got to be
2 guys and a goalie with Gager, Cassian, and Nielsen. Tuesday and Thursdays at noon. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Experience a new era of well-being with Balance. Our innovative hot tea elixir harnesses 10 natural herbs and spices masterfully steeped to unlock powerful benefits to combat inflammation, boost digestion, ease joint tension, and soothe your mind, all while reducing anxiety and promoting better sleep. Rooted in Ayurvedic tradition and enhanced by modern science, Balance is your answer to bloating, IBS, restless nights, and daily stress. Imagine how a simple cup can reset your natural rhythms, helping you wake up refreshed and ready to conquer the day. With each sip, feel your body re-energize and your spirit lift, redefining your health from the inside out. It's time to elevate your wellness. Order your Balance today at sensenaturals.ca.
Movies, comics, and television. That's what you get with Friends of Edmonton Sports Talk, the MCTV podcast. Join hosts Corey Graham and Mark Mageau Monday and Friday nights at 7 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Is Hello Hockey with Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell.
Hour number 2 of Hello Hockey. We're live inside the EST Global HQ, West Edmonton. Tom Gazzola, Sean Bell, Ben Thompson with you, one of the best NHL EA Sports players in the world. It's an honor to be graced by your presence.
Not anymore. I'm retired.
Really? What happened?
Retired.
What happened?
I haven't played a game at NHL since November.
Okay.
Game sucks.
Hang on a second.
Whoa.
We need to talk about this. Give me 1 second because we're going to get in the game right now. Because if it's in the game, it's in the game.
Yeah.
As they used to say. Portions of this are brought to you by Local Public Eatery. Regional Manager Dean Lowry says it's the best place to watch any game on all of their TVs. Great food. Great times. Use promo code LPE9 to get $9 off your order of $30 or more on DoorDash. Visit local public eatery locations in Edmonton, Sherwood Park, Calgary, and Vancouver. We had a great time at local Sherwood. I ran into some people as I was walking to the game the other night, and they're like, we saw you were at local Sherwood. I was like, yes, we were. Shout out to Paige over at local SoCo, and then Taylor and the crew over at local Jasper Avenue.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Benny, what the hell's going on? You were top 5 in the world at EA Sports NHL Series.
It ain't as great as
That's why we hired you.
It isn't as great as it seems, Tommy. No, listen. They took away my World Championship tournament. Okay, that's what I grinded for every year, and I had a blast. I had some of my honestly my favorite moments of my life playing those tournaments, getting flown out to those tournaments was incredible. But they take that away, and then we're left with no tournaments. So then I'm like, all right, like I'm gonna try to do content for it. I'm gonna try to find a new way to be like have my fun within it.
Yes.
And then the content was brutal this year, and then the game sucked. So those are the 3 things that I looked forward to all sucked. And so I was like, you know what,
wow,
I got too much stuff going on. Yeah, well,
I'm very upset with.
I am. It is me and all my friends that I've met through this game. We're all we're done.
Do you have an affiliation with EA Sports so we can trash them?
No, not actually. I have kind of some connection, but not really. I don't work for them. Or
we
anything.
did give away a couple of copies.
We did
early in the season.
We did.
I haven't played.
This is
years.
disappointing news.
It is disappointing.
I hear the casuals love the game.
Okay.
So, and I'm not the casual. So they direct it towards probably the bigger mass of people. So if they want to do that, great. But for a competitive game, the worst game they've ever put out.
Okay, so we need to discern between this, right?
Yeah.
What's the difference about the casual side versus the competitive side?
So casuals, they hop on, on their Saturday night. They have some free time. They got an hour. They're gonna go play some random games online and have a blast and whatever. Or they're playing their franchise mode. I'm playing some franchise mode. That mode they killed it.
Good killed it.
Yeah,
or bad
awesome.
Killed it?
Oh no, awesome. Franchise mode's great this year. But actual gameplay wise, For the casuals, like they made it so that it's like it's a lot more random, a lot more like shots from the point go in, and a lot more like bounces and stuff. And I understand that's real hockey, but like in a competitive game, you want the best player to win every time. And we've never had a game that's like that, but we've had games that are very close. And that was farthest thing to this game. It was like a 50-50 every time you played a game. Like
You're very upset. I'm alarmed by this.
I was a competitive player for 4 years.
He was number one in the world.
I came second one time.
Second
North
in the
America.
world.
Second in the world.
Second. Not that.
And you represented Canada. For those that maybe didn't know this, Ben Thompson, our producer extraordinaire, was one of the top ranked players in EA Sports NHL series. In the world.
And you know what? It's fine, I guess. You know, I've moved on, but I don't know.
I'm rattled.
I don't know if I'll ever go back to it. Honestly, I don't know. We'll see.
Wow.
Yep. They got to really shock me if their games.
So
any good.
what would be needed for them to all of a sudden for you to be like, man, I feel good about this?
Okay.
Because obviously for the casual, you're saying it's really good.
Yeah.
But for the competitive, like, what would be the thing that could bridge the gap?
So, one, world championships have to come back. I'm not coming back if there's no big tournament for money coming back. Two, goalies. The goalies are my biggest problem. The goalies save the shots they shouldn't be saving, and they let in the shots they shouldn't that should be saved. Like, so I'll have my opponent in a turbine, just like trying to like get a free shot open.
Speed bagging.
Yeah. And I make a perfect play, cross ice, one-timer, everything. Goalie flies across, crazy save.
That's
and
just a good save.
It looks like a crazy save, but that's like that's like anyone can make that save in that game. But then all of a sudden the guy comes back down the other way and he has his defenseman from the point, feeds it to his other defenseman, one-timer, scores.
Those are pretty good shots.
That has a higher chance of going in than the
frustration.
close ones. It's crazy. It's
What do you mean?
So they've screwed up the game.
No, this is perfect. It's like normal gameplay.
I'm talking about one of the best players in the world here. I see Pagnotta laughing. Dave's laughing.
Do we want to get him on here? You want to get him on?
Of course.
All righty, let's do it.
I like how we got you all flustered. Dave Pagnotta, our Hello Hockey Insider, joining us now.
Amazing.
Oh, yes. Portions of this hour are brought to you by Performance Chiropractic and Physiotherapy, a clinic built specifically for the athlete and all of us e-athlete over there, with a full team of physiotherapists, chiropractors, massage therapists, and acupuncturists, all here to help you live pain-free. Come see us today at our South Edmonton location. Visit performancechiro.com to book your appointment. Dave, like I know you had, with the fourth period, you had a tie-in with EA Sports. I know you went across the country. That was like 6-7 years ago, if I recall correctly. Listening to Benny Thompson. Yeah, exactly. You had a connection there. Benny is and was one of the best players in the world for EA Sports NHL series. I saw you laughing there because we all grew up playing the games, right? Through all like Nintendo, Genesis, whatever. What stood out to you about his frustration? Because I was getting a chuckle watching your reaction.
It's almost like the realism of the sport kicked into the E side of the sport, because you make a beautiful play and a goalie makes a ridiculous save they have no business making, and then you go up the ice the other way and a garbage goal gets let in. And it's like, how is this happening? And it's on the highlight reel, and you're like, wow, that was ridiculous. So it's almost like it's real play on the E side of things.
And I'm fully for it. Fully for it. Like, no, listen, if you want the real game to be like that, that's fine. I just won't play it. The competitive game needs to be not like real hockey in order for it to be a proper competitive
so
game.
mad right now.
So I need an arcade series is basically what it is. Eh?
God.
Oh, this is so good.
Sorry,
wow.
I love it.
It's all good.
Man, speaking of arcade play, that's like when I would play like NBA, what was it, NBA Inside Jam or whatever.
Yes,
the hell it
NBA
was.
Jam.
The NBA Jam, the Inside Jam was a show. Yeah, NBA Jam, you get the two guys, he's on fire.
Yep.
And then
He's
you
heating
miss.
up.
And then you go in for that alley-oop and you miss. It goes off like the rim and bounces across, and you're like, what the hell? That doesn't happen.
Yep.
It was kind of like I would be pissed off with that, and I'd be hitting the damn thing the same way. I remember playing NHL, I don't know, 96, 97, whatever it was, on Super Nintendo.
Yes.
And just
I had that.
lighting things up, and it would be like you could make your own players, and they'd be like a 99 hunt rating, every one of them. And I would make like old school players because I grew up in Montreal as a Habs fan, so I'd make like Guy Lafleur, and he'd be like a 99. and I'd light up the team, whoever I was playing, and be like 50, 60 to nothing. And then the final minute, the other team would score on a garbage goal to ruin my shutout. I would lose it.
Oh, man.
Every time. Yeah.
Okay, we're on the subject. And Bello, you know this, like Italian families, the families all around, and you have Nona sitting there knitting. So I was at my buddy's place, Adam DeLulo. Good paisan. And I'm sitting there, and Dill and I are playing NHL 95. And that was the first year of Create a Player. And Adam created John Expletive. 99s across the board. And so we're playing, and Adam tells me, he's like, I created this player. His name is John Expletive, and he's awesome. Do you want to play? And I was like, yes. So we went after school, sat in the living room, fired up Super Nintendo on NHL 95, and we're playing season mode. John Expletive scores every goal. Adam's mom comes and watches us playing on the couch. She's sitting there reading a book, and she's got a blanket on. And then we're laughing our asses off. And John Expletive scores a goal. And you know how it says goal scored by, and it has the name. And she looks at the screen because she's like, why are these little idiots, 10-year-olds, laughing so much? And she sees it. She goes, Adam, oh my God, delete that right now. Who is that? That is not a real hockey player. John Expletive was the best player on the ice. Forget Lemieux, forget Gretzky back then. John Expletive, 99. Across the board. Do you remember when you first made your appearance in NHL?
Yeah. And then I traded myself because I wanted too much money. Selfish. Yeah. Get out of here. You can't be on this team anymore.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is. What a bum. Really?
That's when I knew I was ruthless as a GM.
Oh, God. Real hockey?
That GM trading his son. You're trading yourself.
I know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Eh? Because I was being too selfish.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Real hockey, I suppose.
Real hockey, Dave, we've been talking about this for like 2 years, it seems like. Expansion. So now it's happening. It's happening. So Houston, obviously one of the teams. And please correct me if I'm wrong. The other team is?
Atlanta.
Wild.
And
what changed? What happened? Why
nothing.
Houston all of a sudden, out of what seems like a little bit of obscurity, but not really?
Nothing's really changed on the back end of things. I think by design, Gary Bettman confused the public and Bill Daly as well by saying they're not going through a formal expansion process anytime soon. And I've tried to explain this a number of times. It doesn't mean they're not exploring expansion. The expansion process means opening up the bidding to groups that they're either somewhat familiar with or not familiar with that may have interest in an NHL club. They don't have to do that because they know who they want for Atlanta. They know who they prefer for Houston. I think they've got some leaders with respect to other markets as well. So they don't need to go through the process. And the public took that as, well, they're not going to expand. Well, Gary said they're not expanding. And all of a sudden now they're trying to expand. Never. It was always in the works. And as we've been talking about for the last couple of years, it's going to happen. Now, just because things have escalated in the last, few months, does it mean that something is going to happen this offseason? I'm not sure. It may still be a little aggressive, but we'll see kind of where that goes. The Houston thing has always been interesting because Tillman Fertitta had been part of it, but as we've said, and I've mentioned this on the show before, he hasn't been overly interested in coughing up the dough, at least from leading a group to get an expansion team. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't really had much of an appetite to redo Toyota Center to bring a team into that
which
building.
We also talked about because I actually happened to play there.
Yes.
So I knew a little bit about that situation.
Yeah. So now you've got the other group in the mix, and they're currently the leaderboard there, holding pole position. They bought Everton and are going to build a brand new stadium for them over in the English Premier League. I think there's an understanding that you're likely going to need a new building in Houston, which I don't think they're against. And they've got a lot of political ties to the market and to the state. And Vernon Krause's group in Atlanta seems to be at the forefront of that pole position too. So the likelihood of Atlanta-Houston being 33-34 or interchangeable has certainly increased over the last month or so. And we're going to get there. And it's not like, this isn't just the NHL. Like, baseball's expanding, NBA is going to expand. NFL, they talk about the stuff overseas. We'll see what happens there. There's other markets that want an NFL franchise. The Boston Celtics sold for $6.1 billion.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
Everybody, and his group was part, they put in a bid to buy the Celtics. They lost it, but I mean, they've got pockets. They're going to be part of the Houston contingent by all accounts. And that Celtics sale has reinforced how valuable sports franchises are across the board in North America and overseas. This is all a good thing for sports in general. It's going to happen. And yes, we'll eventually get to 36, but one step at a time.
David Pagnotta joining us, our Hello Hockey insider. Go ahead, Bellezy.
Well, I just was curious, like, you know, they talked about trying to build new arenas for both of those cities as a step in the right direction to get those franchises. Have they already started looking at sites for that, or is it just very, very preliminary in the Cape? This is the front group, the front runners, and this is the other group that we want, and that's about it.
The NHL likes when you play ball. Ryan Smith played ball very, very well. He's got Utah. They didn't need to explore alternative options. Vernon Krause's group, with their entertainment district in South Forsyth, they're moving ahead with their plans. And they've kept the NHL abreast of the situation the entire way. It's an 18,000 to 19,000 seat arena to accommodate NHL. It's part of their overall entertainment district. That's moving along. I think with Houston, I don't think they're there yet. I would anticipate, though, now that this has leaked out, that's part of the next phase. And when I spoke with Gary Bettman, and Dennis Bernstein and I spoke with Gary Bettman during the pregame show of the Stadium Series at the beginning of the month, he said that the league, and he also acknowledged no need for expansion process. He acknowledged that there are 4 criteria that the league looks at: the ownership, the market, the building. Is there one? And if there isn't, what's the plan for one? And does this make the league more attractive and appealing and profitable overall? Houston does all that, minus the arena, which they're going to figure out. And Atlanta and the suburb of Atlanta, they do that too. They've got the group, they've got the building, they've got the market, and it makes the league better. Same with Houston minus the arena, but they're going to get to that.
So now, is the price tag going to be $2 billion, or is it just under $2 billion?
Well, hang on.
No,
I was going to say this $6.1 billion for the Celtics. To add to what you're saying, how much does that affect NHL franchises? Because all of a sudden, like, this is a ridiculous price for I know it's a storied basketball team, but there is a tie-in to NHL, right?
100%. And again, the fact that the like Dan's group was part of it, that process emphasizes their financial positioning. At the start of the season, I heard we were going to be around 1 to 1.3 billion. It sounds like now, more recently, we're hovering around 1.3 to 1.5, and an argument to be 1.5. You're looking at almost 2.5 billion all in between franchise fee and arena.
Jeez.
It's a hell of a lot of cheddar.
Yeah.
So they'll figure it out, and both of these groups have that. Again, Atlanta's moving forward. They're planning for their entertainment district and arena. Houston's got the pockets, and maybe Fertitta gets in the mix if he's convinced to renovate Toyota Center. I don't think so, but we'll see. I've been surprised before. But, we'll see kind of where that ends up. But my guess is we're going to be looking at in and around $3 billion all in, or close to it, for two more franchises, 33 and 34 in the National Hockey League. And that's hard. That's very hard for the league to say no to. The NHLPA will make an argument in their CBA discussions about getting a piece of that. The league will continue to rebut that we're getting you all these new jobs. That's your cut. So we'll see where that goes.
Man, here's my follow-up to this. And this was something I was out last night shooting the breeze with fellow reporters, and we're wondering this, Dave. With how much prices are going up for franchises, do you think that there are current NHL owners right now that are seeing this and going, you know what? I was in it for the long haul, but actually I'd rather make an extra $1 billion or $2 billion and flip my franchise. Could you see that happening where some owners who were locked in are just like, screw it, I want another $1.5 billion and start to flip these teams? Could that happen, or am I being a little bit too whimsical with this?
I don't know about, other than Pittsburgh, about selling the entirety of the franchise or the majority of it. But there are teams that are looking to take on partners and willing to sell pieces of their club.
Yeah.
To make an extra $200-400 million. We'll see kind of where that goes. We know Tampa's already gone down that road. We know Pittsburgh is for sale if you meet their price. I don't know what that price tag is, but they're willing to listen. There are other franchises that are out there that Willis. I reported Calgary earlier on.
I was going to ask about Calgary.
Yeah, well, Murray was pissed off about that one.
Oh well,
and too bad you're still looking.
Yeah.
So that's one team, but there are there are others which I'm not going to name because I can only have so many people yell at me at the same time.
We don't want them yelling at you.
I'll wait. But I do give them credit. Their choice of words and verbiage is very entertaining. But there are other franchises that would certainly take on new investors and partners to take advantage of this financial
boom,
explosion that's going on in sport.
I want to see some of these text messages when you come back to town for our golf tournament. Also, we have NHL 95 on our arcade machine over here in our studios. We'll bring you back in.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah. This is great. This is the next evolution of ownership.
Yeah.
It's just straight up big business.
And a lot of financial funds and hedge funds and private equity groups are getting involved in this.
Yeah.
And it makes it more sustainable for really everybody involved. And the league is wide open to that possibility. Now, in these particular two cases of Atlanta and Houston, that's not the case. They've got primary groups that are spearheading this, but like Pittsburgh took on the name totally escapes me right now, but Fenway Sports Group.
Yeah,
like that's a contingent of financial backers and institutions. We're going to see more of that happen in the NHL and in every sport, really.
Bold prediction: 2030, a beer costs you $30 at the rink.
Gross.
Well, I mean, see, Utah's taken a nice little, and I think there was another franchise as well that's taken a nice little bite into that.
Really?
They may not change ticket pricing, but concession stands and things like that have been a lot more palatable for some franchises, and it's been working. And I think that's going to take on a little bit of life across the league.
Good.
Not necessarily right away. I think it'll be a slow process because some people are very stubborn. But we'll see kind of how that goes. But I think they're going to, quote unquote, reward. You're going to spend, a lot for a blank ton for, for tickets, but you're not going to have to spend $20-30 on a tall boy. You can spend a moderate price on that and a hot dog and be okay.
John
Yeah,
Expletive says it's all good what you just said. Go ahead.
I think the Atlanta Falcons were the first team to actually try that with the concessions, where they brought it down to like very reasonable prices, and apparently they've made more revenue off of that than when it was a little bit more expensive. But talking about that Fenway group, one of the key players, when they ended up going to Pittsburgh, did he not end up joining a different group that is now helping to be one of the front runners for the Houston franchise? I think last name's Lewicki.
Yes. Well, so his group was part of and I think he's still engaged and involved with
Seattle?
The Lewicki Sports Group. Yeah, Seattle.
Yeah.
So they're big. Their primary part of business is building stadiums, working on the concessions, doing all of that. That's been a key part of it. We know that Edwards Group and everyone out in Philly, like they're big on the concession side of things. Jacob, like everything is kind of intertwined, and tentacles are kind of everywhere. So, and we see people that bounce off or out of different groups. Michael Andlauer had a piece of the Montreal Canadiens, sold that off, made a ton, used that to buy or at least to finance his purchase of the Ottawa Senators. We'll certainly see that kind of come into play for other teams that are looking for partners, investors, and potentially overall takeovers.
Damn. Paisan, we've been talking about expansion for like 20 minutes. This is fantastic. John Expletive was great in NHL 95.
We've been talking about this for 2 years, man.
I know. Well, like I saw the headlines on other networks, and I was like, we've been all over this. Dave's been talking about it for a while, so nice that everybody's finally caught up to us. We'll humble brag, give ourselves a pat on the back.
Nice work, Dave.
That's why you are the best, David. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Okay, Bello?
You too, boys. Thanks.
There's our Hello Hockey insider, David Pagnotta. He's fantastic. We have Chris Dingman, two-time Stanley Cup champion, joining us next right here on Hello Hockey. You can fire us a text, 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat as well. Man, we're an hour and a half into the show already. It's just flying by. Commercial break coming up, and when we return, Dinger joins us. I'm sure he has nothing to say because he never does.
Experience a new era of well-being with Balance. Our innovative hot tea elixir harnesses 10 natural herbs and spices masterfully steeped to unlock powerful benefits to combat inflammation, boost digestion, ease joint tension, and soothe your mind, all while reducing anxiety and promoting better sleep. Rooted in Ayurvedic tradition and enhanced by modern science, Balance is your answer to bloating, IBS, restless nights, and daily stress. Imagine how a simple cup can reset your natural rhythm, helping you wake up refreshed and ready to conquer the day. With each sip, feel your body re-energize and your spirit lift, redefining your health from the inside out. It's time to elevate your wellness. Order your Balance today at sensenaturals.ca.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Movies, comics, and television. That's what you get with Friends of Edmonton Sports Talk, the MCTV podcast. Join hosts Corey Graham and Mark Mageau Monday and Friday nights at 7 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Join friend of EST, Guy Flaming, for The Pipeline Show, Monday nights at 8 and Saturday at noon, as he has you covered with CHL, CJHL, USHL, NAHL, NCAA, and U Sports, plus the World Juniors, Frozen Four, and NHL Draft on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Elks Call is the newest Edmonton Elks podcast located in Edmonton, discussing everything Elks. Join friends of EST, Scout and Catherine, Friday nights at 8 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Is Hello Hockey with Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell.
All right, it's been a fun show on this Saturday. Lots of action in the National Hockey League. 14 games on the schedule. You're going to get Bellezy's picks later on. We'll post it on our social media as well. Tom Gazzola, Sean Bell, Ben Thompson with you. Chris Dingman will be joining us shortly. Of course, portions of this hour brought to you by Summit. Join us on the third floor of the Silent Ice Center, a place where great food, buds, and bevies come together. Wicked game day specials with big screens and big sound. The staff there is fantastic. The food is great. The drinks are nice and cold, and we highly recommend going up to Summit. If you're at the Silent Ice Center watching or playing hockey, it is a tremendous facility. Indeed. All right. Text us 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat if you're listening live on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, of course, EdmontonSportsTalk.com on the audio player. And then if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're listening on Sportsnet Radio in Calgary, Vancouver, we appreciate you as always. Chris Dingman, ready to go. You're smiling for some reason. Why are you laughing, Dinger?
Oh, we've been just watching Dinger.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. We can hear it. What's funny? Hello.
Because you were so dialed in and focused. I remember that movie where the guy's like, I don't know, this is the was it the
this is a
Carrie?
serious
What's
show, Chris.
I know it is. Carrie, was it? Why can't I think of his first name? Carrie?
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey, when he was like, hello? I don't see you in here. Is
doing the best Ace Ventura.
You were
Yeah,
down
whatever.
here. You were doing all your, hey, Silent Ice Center, thanks for all our sponsors, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Bellezy, I was like,
Dinger knows Silent Ice Center. He knows Summit. Welcome to the program for the first time. I'm sure you have nothing to say today. Oh, get out of here.
Probably my last time, too, the way it started. I derailed things. My report cards were, Chris could be an honor student if he just applied himself a little bit more.
Why am I
Chris
not
is really
surprised?
Yeah, Chris is really disruptive in class.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
Dinger.
Welcome back to Bellezy and Tom show. Hello Hockey, sponsored by not Chris Dingman.
Well, I was going to ask you what you thought of my performance at the Alumni skate because Johnny Boychuk said you guys weren't trying. Bellezy said I wasn't good. I scored a goal. I got there late.
That. I didn't say anything.
You didn't say
actually.
anything.
So that's not me saying anything.
I've been getting just murdered by our viewers and listeners all week long. Dinger, please say something nice about my game.
I think you have a lot of potential, but I think you left a lot to be desired that game.
Yeah.
Typical skill guy, didn't get the puck enough, and
I respect that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's complimenting you right now.
No, I'm saying
it's 100% a backhanded comment.
I didn't say great locker room guy. Oh, got a player. He's great. He's an unbelievable locker room.
You just said typical skill guy didn't get the puck enough. Yeah, that means he didn't do anything.
No, it's just they, could have done more if guys would have passed to him rather than go get the puck yourself. Like when Carey skates, I'm like, dude, you got the 1/1000 rule. He's like, what's that? I'm like, if it's still on your stick at 1/1000 by the time, then you gotta there's a problem because every time you lose it. And I like chirping people. I thought you're okay.
Thank you.
I don't know. I thought I was decent. I was surprised by Bellezy's. I was surprised by Bellezy's speed. Then I find out he's a defenseman. I thought he was a forward with all the moves he has. So every time I was saucing it across to him, everything was in his skates. Yeah.
Yeah, it was too fast because you'd just be like, man, every time we play against each other, you got a bunch of guys that they're not keeping up. But appreciate that, man.
Very nice.
We skate together. We talk a lot. We chirp a lot. One of the things that we both know is that you've got two kids in hockey, and curious what it's like, obviously, having two boys in hockey with the game changed. Your game was obviously, catered to its time, and now you've got guys that, Hunter, skill guy, Sawyer, skill guy, but they're both big, they're both rangy. What has it been like, obviously, coaching your kids, talking to your kids, and understanding that they're part of this new era, which is completely different from when you were playing?
Oh man, how much time do you have?
Not that much.
Some.
Yeah. It's fun, but it's really difficult, if we're being perfectly honest, strictly because like you coach them and you know what they should do. And I don't know, like you guys, like Bellezy, your kids are younger, but it's really hard to watch games and you see how the play develops and should develop. And when other guys don't see the ice, even my kid, like yesterday, like I was giving it to Hunter, like when he didn't make the right play, because it's like you're out there and you're with guys you think you can, and he scored some goals too. But I'm like, dude, make the right play. And then George's kid was out there too, and I was chirping him. But I was talking to him, I was like, dude, you want to play the next level? You get the puck here, you throw it here, and then you jump to open spots, and like very coachable. So it's hard just because the game's changed, but it hasn't changed that much. You still have to forecheck, you still have to back check, you still have to play good defense, and you got to battle. And I don't know, like the leash maybe, like. Hunter Bellezy pumped your tires there. Hunter was with you for like a week or whatever it was. No, you're laughing, but he was like, it was the best practice I've had in years. He's like he's a good coach. Like, and not to whatever, but that's like for me, that's all I want for my kids is structure and accountability. And so again, it's really fun, but it's like, the older guys, you go with the older guys and your guys. Like I learned this, like having kids and then coaching girls hockey is that I learned a lot from having kids and like listening to their feelings. It's like when you're not going to get a chance and, and like getting locked into lines, like, your lines or whatever, but like you see with the Oilers that like you can put anybody with McDavid, but like if you go into a game, you look at a game and you give it a couple shifts and if things aren't working or you switch it up, like you don't get married to lines and whatever. So it's been really good. I mean, Audrey's had a different journey, obviously, being back with you, Bellezy, no offense, but it was like whipped cream on poop. And then he ended up in this. No, but like the year, where did he start? He was on like 3-4 teams, man. He was on a team where the owner spent all the money and they were canceling games. And he was literally coaching the team with the bus, him and the captain. He was running practices with the bus driver on the bench. Like,
oh boy.
Yeah. It was all the way out in Ontario. So, yeah, it was interesting, but it was again, so it wasn't an insult to you, Bellezy. It was a good day. He finished up in Estevan, and what a great town and a great rink and stuff. And so in Swift Current, he's had some ups and downs, playing and not playing, and just trying. So all I try and do, I know I ramble on, is just try and talk him through. When I was like, when I played, I never wanted to be a distraction. So when you're not playing, like you want to be professional, and guys know you're upset. There was one time I think I had two goals in 2 games in Tampa, and then I sat out 11 straight games. And Torts talked to me before he sat me out because he said he wanted to get more speed in the lineup. I'm like, I'm not the fastest guy. Like I can skate fast in a straight line. I can't really turn to the right, but whatever. Like that's why I hit guys. But
you're like Zoolander.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, where you can't on the runway. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
How are they supposed to read if they can't get into the building?
That's right. What is this? A center for ants?
Yeah. I watched that the other day, or pieces of it where he was doing his move where he got the underwear out. He gave himself the super wedgie. But anyways, what was I talking about? What were we talking about?
Torts and benching you after 2 goals in 2 games.
Yeah. So anyways, So he talked to me and he's like, yeah, I want to get more speed in the lineup. But we lost 5-1 to Jersey and I scored on Marty Brodeur. And I'm like, well, I wasn't that slow because I scored the only goal. But at least he talked to me. But then, it's like if you don't play 11 games, that's like a month. So after like 2-3 weeks, I'm kind of like fed up a little bit. And like, so the agent calls the GM, like, hey, what's going on? What do they like? I'm going to give other guys a try, no problem. And I think this is how I got back in the lineup because I always worked out before practice, went early, shot on the goalies, and then, got a bag skated after and then rode the bike after. And so anyways, I was going to go to the gym and then one day and I'm like, screw it. Sorry, I'm trying not to swear. So I take my shirt off and I stand in front of the mirror and I grab like 60-pound dumbbells. And I rattle off like 8 or 10 curls, but I'm like 1, 2, like super loud and grunting, 3, 4, 5, and then just being a little bit obnoxious. And then Torts comes into the locker room or the weight room. He comes in, he looks at me, and then walks out. And then the next day, I'm on the 4th line, back in the lineup. And I fought Eric Cairns, I think, first shift. So I got punched in the head a few times. So I don't know if that's why. But like this, so all I tell my kids is like, talk to your coaches. Like, I wish I would have, not been scared. Like if the worst they can say is no, or, like proactive, like, what can I do more? What can I do? Like, what am I not doing? And it seems cheesy or whatever, but like, Hunter's pretty quiet, but he's, as you can tell, Bellezy from chirping him, he chirps me a little bit more than Sawyer as well. But they're super quiet, and I used to be really quiet. To be honest with you,
that is shocking. Seriously,
but Dinger, just quickly, do you not think though that when you were growing up and you were playing, that it was a different mentality than it is today? Because like you're saying, well, I wish I could have talked to the coaches more, but like back then, you weren't talking to the coaches because that's just what it was. It was their way or the highway. Now it's a little bit more collaborative, and there is an element of the coach going up to the players and being like, okay, like let's do this together. And that's why I think you see like some of these coaches like being around for so long, and like Glenn Gulletson here, he's tied to Draisaitl and McDavid because they love the way that he communicates with them, and he brings them into to try to help the power play.
Yeah, like John Cooper, not to bring up Tampa, but yeah, that's a similar example. Like John Cooper, I wasn't sure because they went to the finals in 2015 and they lost to Chicago or whatever.
Yep.
But they went through like 3 or 4 sets of assistant coaches. And I was talking to Dave Anderchuk, and he's kind of like, at what point is it maybe not the assistant coaches? But Coop's thing was that I don't coach the same way for every player because each guy's different. Like each guy responds differently. And the communication aspect, the way you're talking about Bellezy is huge because you're a little bit younger than me, but like there was no communication. Like, you know what I mean? Like no one was talking to you. It was like you weren't playing, you felt like a pariah. And for me and my kids, it's like, I just want coaches to communicate, talk to them because they want to play and, whatever. Hey, listen, this is what we're doing. Because I talked to the GM in Swift, Chad Leslie, one time. And he's just talking like he's not played a couple games. He's like, this is what we do, 16-year-olds, whatever. We got to get guys in the lineup. But I'm like, I totally get it. Like I understand as an organization, but as a parent, here's what I see and, whatever. So just the communication aspect of is talking to guys, and what you're saying is those guys are as important as the head coaches. Like having those guys that go between, like whatever, you got to cater to the stars a lot more now, but make sure you have the right stars. In Edmonton, you do have the right stars because you saw it in the playoffs. Like, Connor McDavid's running guys and mad. That's good because everyone else goes, hey, if 97's doing it and I'm whoever, pick your 3rd, 4th line guy, like I better be doing it, like Janmark or Brown or whatever. Like if Connor McDavid's blocking shots, I sure as heck better be blocking shots. So yeah, I think it's changed a little bit, but it can change more. I just really try to use my experiences with my children. And when I was coaching, is that I would tell the girls, like, you can come to me about anything. Like I may not agree with you, but you can come talk to me. And that's the communication aspect. I think, society in general, but it's gone a little too, I don't want to say soft, but I don't like that word, but it's gone a little too far to the other side too, where it's like you can't really yell at guys, but you don't need to. Like when I got my USA Hockey level 4, it was like you don't need to, as a coach, you don't need to yell at players. You tell them, you give them a directive, what they want to do, and what you control is ice time. Like I asked you to do this. I didn't want you to float around or whatever. So obviously you're not going to play. So I think that aspect is good. And like having a guy, like you said, like Gulletson that's been around, and like those guys, keeping those guys feeling good is huge, right?
Yep.
Like it's a team game, but those are the guys that they bring everyone along, but it's like, they're not playing. So other guys are good. The best was like Ryan Rashog was doing a piece, and it was like with McDavid and Draisaitl up, what's going to happen? It was like other guys need to step up. And it was like, wow, really? Bellezy, me and you should be in the black case maybe and jump in there. I'd like to step up. No one's going to step up. We're going to play the same. I'm kidding, but that's kind of what you say. You guys are like sitting there for a second, like, what the heck is he talking about?
Two-time Cup champ, Chris Dingman, former Lightning broadcast. Dinger, you were surprised. You were very good on the broadcast. I remember we were traveling around when I used to be with Oilers TV. And I was like, oh my God, Chris Dingman's very good on the broadcast. Funny guy all around, knows the game inside and out. We have a question for you, and I know you can talk about this because you could talk about anything that you get thrown at you. But Big Uke texts in, and Big Uke says, I have a question for Chris Dingman. What was the 04 run like, beating 2 Canadian teams, playing with the Cup on the line in Calgary? What was the atmosphere like? And I love that question, Dinger, because we were talking about it earlier in the show. This is the best time of year for hockey. Like, I love springtime. Things are ramping up. What would you say to Big Uke about the run in 04 and dealing with all that?
It was pretty good, but it was kind of like as we went along, like the year before we lost to Jersey in 5 games in the second round. We went down 0-2 against Washington. They had Yager, and I played against Yager the last 4 games. Every faceoff, I'd slash him on the top of the skate. And as the series went along, he kept backing up away from me because I two-handed him on the laces. Pavel Kubina was Czech, and he was calling him a few Czech words, bad ones anyway. So just abused him. Like anyway, so we learned that year. We're like, because Jersey went on to win the cup, and we're like, we're a good team. We can compete. And then that run, as it went along, we just got more and more confidence. In Montreal was like, we had Vinny Cavier, a couple other Dan Boyle, French-speaking Andre Waugh. And I loved it because it's like the atmosphere in Tampa was unreal. That's what people don't give enough credit to is like in Tampa, you got you have third generation hockey fans, but a lot of people move there when they get sick of the snow. I did the opposite. I moved back here because I wanted to be back around snow and shovel a lot. I'm kidding, but playing Montreal, if you've been, you're laughing. It's a great workout, man. You just baling hay.
Shut up, there.
You gotta activate your core. Bellezy, you can use that in your Gym 7. Here's how you activate your core, when you're shoveling. So, anyways, that's how I stick out in the corner. But so we're in there with the Bell Center, and before the game, they're like, "Ole, ole, 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 ole," that song. And they're like, I don't think people realize, but that pumps a visiting team up as much as the home team because they're like, "This is good." And then so we beat them, and Vinny scores in overtime. And when he scored, I think he put it between his legs, and then Richie got the rebound, whatever it was. Vinny was part of it. I think Chuck too, but I was had a really good seat, right at the end of the bench. I was like, way to go, guys. But he scores, and you can literally, I know, stop laughing, man. This is true. So he scores, and it's like, whoop, you can hear a pin drop. It's like dead silence because everyone's like, can I swear in French? I can swear in French, right?
Benny will clear it up for Sportsnet. Yes, go ahead.
Everyone's like, this, Tabernacle, and you hear pin drop, and then our team's like, ole, we're cheering. We go in the locker room, and we're like, ole, 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 ole. So the fans could hear it. It was unreal. So then Calgary, I played for Calgary and was traded. And good and bad is it. So I played there in 97. That's when the Canadian teams were maybe in jeopardy of moving because of the Canadian dollar and all that stuff. And so literally we missed the playoffs by 6 points, but we're playing for 14, 15,000 people. The Saladome wasn't sold out. But as we're going on this run and we're in the playoffs and the Red Mile,
Yep.
And they're all these passionate Canadian fans and Calgary fans and the Red Mile and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'd take a cab early because it's back when you could maybe curve your sticks a little bit and stuff. And so I'd roll the cab window down, me and Daryl Sador, and I'd be like, where the frig were you guys in 97 hopping on the chuck wagon? Because, hey, it's great to be you're a super fan in the finals. But anyways, a good story about that was that Sean Podine, a guy I played with. I don't know if you guys know Podes, but he's a total beauty. He shows up. Yeah, Podes. Yeah, he shows up in Calgary wearing white swim trunks, a white hockey helmet on, and his whole body spray painted red with Yell 11 on the back. Because me and Stefan Yell played together in Colorado. And he shows up and he meets up with my wife. And no bag, no nothing. Just showed up. He's hanging around. He's high-fiving everyone. Hey, Joe Otto. Giving everyone a good game, tapping him on the butt. So he ends up sharing a room with Buccigross, who's Bucci's a good guy. He's Poes had no hotel room, no nothing. And just showed up and whatever. And people are like, who the hell is this guy? And they're like, that's Sean Podine. And they're like, what? That's Sean, the hockey player? And they're like, yeah. And then I was giving it to him. I was like, Poes, what the freak? And then he showed up in Tampa, spray painted blue, white swim trunks, sitting next to my wife in the wife section. And then we had a team meal after, and he couldn't even talk. He's like, oh yeah, Happy Bo was terrible that game. And everyone's like, who the frig is this guy? And I'm like, Poes, Happy's over there, man. But anyways, everyone's like, who the frig is this guy? We're like, it's Sean Podine. So the atmosphere is unbelievable. Playoff hockey is, and for me, I knew I was going to play. I know I've kind of rambled on, but I knew I was going to play because I would get it out, I would get it in, I would hit, and I'd cycle the puck, and the coach knew what he was getting. So I loved it. It was unbelievable. Canadian. I was at Game 6. I don't know you guys, but that was Northlands, man. I flew back for Game 6, Northlands. I just wanted to go to a game because they were showing. I don't know if I told you guys this story. They were showing the American national anthem on the broadcast in ESPN, and they're like, "You got to see this. This is in this place called Edmonton, Alberta. This is unreal." And the anthem. So Paul Laurier, I think his name was.
Yeah,
so he'd start,
Paul Laurier.
Yeah, he'd stop halfway through, and the fans would sing. So I just wanted to come. I ended up going to that game. So it was unbelievable. Just have a beer and a hot dog and a beer. Shake, if you're David Lee Roth. Go ahead, sir.
Pork missile. It's a pork missile, as we like to call Glizzy. We have like 8 minutes left. I have an idea. Can Dinger play Benny's blind rankings?
Yes, he can.
Benny, can you make that happen?
Give me 30 seconds.
Give him 30 seconds. All right. Dinger, do you want to play Benny's blind rankings? This is fun.
Sure.
I think you'd be good at it. We have 8 minutes. Benny's going to get it set up on the camera, and in the meantime, I'll read the liner for Balance over at Sense Naturals. Discover Balance hot tea elixir crafted from 10 potent herbs and spices steeped to perfection to reduce inflammation, heal digestion, soothe anxiety, and promote revitalizing sleep. Redefine your health from inside out with a centuries-old solution to today's modern health challenges. Elevate your wellness. Order your Balance today. SenseNaturals.ca. Our good friend Simon Bennett, part of Sense Naturals. I think Dinger knows Benny as well. All right.
Was it Body by Bennett?
Body
That's
by Bennett.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. But you were a Mitch Connor guy too, right?
Yeah, I worked out with Mitch, and then I was a Charles Falcon guy.
Yeah, I was at Mitch Connor when you, Joaquin, I think James Black, and Dave Cooper were there.
Jody Shelley. Coop, yeah.
Jody Shelley, yes.
Yeah, Shelley,
Yeah, you were a scary man, Dinger. I was intimidated. Yep.
I used to be able to do squats on a Swiss ball with that bar. Seriously,
which is just so outrageous.
Yeah, it is outrageous. All right, we're ready for Benny's blind rankings. Benny, give us the topic. What are we ranking today?
All righty, so you guys will be blind ranking current NHL captains.
We have 7 minutes. Yes.
So I will lead you off.
Yep.
With Sidney Crosby.
One.
Go ahead, boys.
I'm just so distracted.
Does anybody else want to change that? Sidney Crosby, number 1. Boom, done.
Dinger. Does Dinger know how to play? Are you familiar?
1 to 5.
Benny, I'm just so distracted by your mustache that I'm having a hard time. Not sure. I don't know who the other guys are, but I would start Crosby at number 1. Yes, not knowing who the other guys.
That's the beauty of the blind rankings. So Crosby number 1.
Okay. Crosby number 1. We got Jordan Staal next.
5.
Done.
Show your work, Dinger.
No kidding. You can't just throw names out like that. Why?
Why 5?
Why?
Yeah.
Because there's got to be better captains than him. No offense, but I got a great video story about him and Vinny Lecavalier and Torts, but we probably don't have time.
Can you sandwich it in
right now? Really quick. I'll do it in under a minute. We're doing a video session. We're in Carolina. We just played a game. We're doing video the next morning. We practice. We're doing video. We just want to go to Philly because I think it's like Super Bowl Sunday. You know, you do video, Bellezy, and you're like, whatever, power play, penalty, kill, scoring chances. Torch shows this video, and it's Vinny and Staal about to take a face off. And we're talking about the centerman Staal, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So they're about to take a face off, and the camera zooms in. You can't hear any audio, and you see Vinny go, all you can do is read lips. He's like, how's it going? And Stahl's like, what? He's like, how's it going? Stahl's like, what? He's like, you're having a good year. And as soon as we see this, we're like, this is not good. He's like, what? He's like, you're having a good year. And then Torts paused it. And he's like, hey, Vinny, I'm just curious. What are you saying there? And Vinny's like, what? He's like, I'm just curious. Like, what are you saying there? And Vinny's like, I don't know. And then like, whatever, I'm just curious. He just stuck it up your, you're patting him on the back, blah, blah, blah. And so it turned into a 40-minute FU. And we're like, oh my God, just trying to get out of here. Like, but you don't do that. You don't do that, right? Like, hey, buddy, how's it going? Sorry, go ahead. Number 4. Number 2. Sorry.
All righty. Victor Hedman's next.
Victor Hedman.
3.
Dinger.
What do you think, Dinger?
The way this is going, I think we're going younger and younger, so I'll go 3 or 4. Yeah, 3 or 4. I'd probably go 4, but no, 3.
Near and dear to your heart.
I would go 4 just because he's a captain now, but he learned his leadership skills from Marty St. Louis and Stammer. But whatever you want.
All right.
Okay, put him at 4. Dinger's the guest. He's playing along. All right.
All righty.
Who's next?
Nick Foligno.
Oh.
I'm going to put him at 3 because I actually think he's a pretty good captain.
I respect Nick Foligno. Dinger, what would you say?
Nick's the older, shorter one, right? Marcus is in Mini.
Marcus is in Mini.
Chicago.
Yeah, Nick's in Chicago. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you're trying to get Connor Bedard to play defense. Like, that's a tough task, right? I'm okay there.
All right.
I go 2 or 3, but I'm good with that.
Okay.
Radko Gudas is going number 2 for the boys.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? He's awesome. He is awesome.
Beard?
He's given that team a little bit of spice, so I think we're underselling Radko Gudas.
he was in Tampa when I was doing TV and stuff.
Yep.
And he shows up, and like European guys aren't really known for fighting, but he would just annihilate guys. Like, and he would just, Peros was like looking at his pass, and like Peros should have suspended himself if we're being honest, because he was so bad. Gudas just like right in the chest, just buries him like into the, like launched him into the bench. And like, then he goes after Gudas, and Gudas is like, you know, F you, I'll fight you. And like fought him. He took a couple, but he did good. And I was like, this guy is just a unit. Like I would take that guy. I would take Trouba. I would get 3 guys like that, and then 3 skill guys. And like, he's awesome because he'll back it up. Like talking, you know, what's that saying? Talk is cheap and bad aids cost money or whatever. But I love the beard, man. His beard game is just unbelievable too.
Dinger, I think this is the most fun version of Benny's Blind Rankings that we've done. This has been a great segment.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good job, Benny. Yeah, you and the Blue Jays.
Chris, thanks for hopping on. We have to have you on again. This was fantastic. Always appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you back on the ice. You're my favorite teammate, not Bellezy anymore, okay?
I appreciate that. That's the nicest thing anyone said to me in a long time. So
happy to provide.
Special.
There's Chris Dingman, 2-time Cup champ. Excellent on Benny's Blind Rankings. What a show, man. This was a fun show. Dinger was awesome. Johnny Boychuk was great. Final thoughts. We have like a minute to
Do
wrap
we have
up.
time to just quickly go through Saturday picks?
Let's do the Saturday
5
picks.
Canadian teams.
Yep.
So right now, we've got the Canucks that are playing in New York. We've got the Canucks winning that game. The Flames are in New York as well against the Islanders. We are all rooting for the Flames. I think that's going to be a win for those guys. You got the Leafs and the Predators. Leafs. Sorry, Preds, not happening. Sens and Devils. We got the Senators winning that matchup. Sens have been playing well.
Yes, they have.
They look like a legit hockey team. And then we got the Avs and the Canadiens. Got Avs going into Montreal and winning that game. Finally, Kraken and the Oilers. Oilers are going to take the dub.
No McDavid, no Draisaitl. Skinner should start. I think it is. I haven't seen an update yet. Draisaitl, I'm just going to say it, hammy.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's tough. If you want to see the rest of the blind rankings, obviously check out our socials. We have the full rundown of the games. But it's been a fantastic show. A lot of good guests.
This flew by. Dinger was great.
Yeah. Character.
Yeah, I'd say so. That's going to do it for Hello Hockey. What a fun show. A couple of swears that Benny's going to have to clean up, but outside of that, fantastic stuff as always. To everybody who listened, everybody who watched, you guys are the best. We'll be back later on Edmonton Sports Talk for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre- and post-game show. Bellezy, you're down at the rink with me today.
I'm at the rink.
It's going to be fantastic. Ben Thompson, great work as always. That's going to do it. Big thank you to Johnny Boychuk, Chris Dingman, and Dave Pagnotta. For Ben Thompson, Sean Bell, I'm Tom Gazzola saying we'll see you later.